Hello everyone. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at an article from TechCrunch that was published on November 8th. It's written by Megan Rose Dickey. And I just gotta start out by saying, I remember when TechCrunch was about reporting on tech, not friggin' cultural Marxist identity politics bullshit. About pushing propaganda, about pushing politics. You're a tech site, TechCrunch. Get a fucking clue. Well, Megan Rose Dickey, if you look at how she leads in the beginning of this article off, she's probably a mecha feminist, a super feminist, you know? Google walkout organizers aren't satisfied with CEO's response. So they spurg out and demand shit like... We'll get into that in the article, but let me just preface this, or preface, depending which way you want to say it. But let me preface this with the fact of these are the same people, while they're censoring people right of them, going, Google is a private company. YouTube is a private company. Alphabet's a private company. They can do what they want. We can do what we want. But here they are making demands on the private company that actually it's all right. This is like the idea of like showing up at someone's house, you know, uninvited, walking in, plopping down on the fucking couch and demanding they cook you dinner. That's kind of what they're doing here. I mean, it's obviously worse than that, but that's kind of the only analogy that comes to mind with what they're trying to do as part of this. But let's get into the article here. Organizers of the massive walkouts at Google last week are, rightfully so, you're supposed to be reporting on facts, but here you are interjecting your feelings here, chickie. You feminist, you clearly feminist woman, not letting up on their demands. Rightfully so. Wait a minute. They got a major, concession. They got rid of arbitration when it comes to sexual harassment and stuff like that. They can go to court and sue now. That's a big, big concession. No company wants to give up arbitration. But Google did that. That isn't good enough for them, though. Earlier this morning, Google's CEO, Sundar Pichai, responded to some of their demands, outlining how Google is getting rid of forced arbitration for sexual harassment and sexual assault claims, offering more transparency around these investigations and more. So not only did he make it so that you can take them to court and sue, they're going to openly witch hunt people for you fucking spurging retards. Because odds are they're going to just give out the accused's names without due process or, the idea of being innocent until proven guilty. Because that's what they'll need to do to appease you shitbags on that note. While Google did make some changes, the company did not address all of the organizers' demands because they were unreasonable. For example, Google failed to elevate its chief diversity officer to report directly to Pichai and also ignored the organizers' request. Request my ass. It was a demand. They're making demands. They're not making requests. They're saying, you do this or else. Because we walked out, you better do this. They're not requesting. They're saying, do it. Because we told you to. Be honest about it. But ignored the organizers' request to add an employee representative to the board of directors. Who the fuck are they to say that they should have a member on the board? They're employees. They're not major shareholders. They're not, people that have business background that would be beneficial to have on the board. They want some fucking identity politics fuckwit to be on the board. That's unreasonable. To have their chief diversity officer, literally a cultural Marxist post, report to Pichai. The guy runs the company. He's a busy fucker. Especially with trying to silence people on the right these days. But he's a busy little shitbag. You want the little cultural Marxist appointee that you have there to make sure that Google is diverse in color and you know, everything but ideology and white men. You appoint someone to get rid of, you know, diversity of thought and white men, and you want them to report to Pichai so that they can get more power, so that their position has more power. That's unreasonable. You are like children. And what's this dumb broad's name? Megan. You saying that they're rightfully so, they're what they're doing what they're doing rightfully so. You're a reporter. You're acting like an activist. They literally, when they're silencing people, or trying to silence, because I was shadow banned by them, but with the fact of being investigated looming, they let up the shadow banning a little bit on YouTube. But I'm being censored. Let's call it what it is, censorship. I'm being censored, and the mentality I'm sure over there is well, we're a private company. And here they are. I'm going to tell them the same thing that when I'm being shadow banned on YouTube. You know, I've been told by people on the left that, like, when I pointed it out, you know, they told me, well, it's a private company. Well, you know what? It's a private company. Fuck you and your demands, too. You're lucky you got what you got. And they asked for more. That's what's messed up. In the Medium post today, the organizers commended Google's process while also noting how Pichai's response did not address many of their core demands. So now their demands. Make up your mind, Megan. Are they making requests or are they making demands? You can't flip-flop between the two. In the post, they write, however, the response ignored several of the core demands, like elevating the diversity officer and employee representation on the board, and troublingly erased those focused on racism, discrimination, and structural inequity built into the modern-day Jim Crow class system that separates full-time employees from contract workers. Every time I read that, I literally get a laugh out of that. They are trying to equate contract work to Jim Crow. As someone who has a degree in history, who studied history, who, during the dot-com boom, did contracting. You don't know what the fuck you are remotely talking about. Or you don't know remotely what the fuck you're talking about would be more grammatically correct. You are all clueless millennial leftist fucking participation trophy shitbags. Oh, they didn't elevate the diversity officer and an employee representative to the board. Wow. And they erased the focus on racism, discrimination, and structural inequity built into the modern-day Jim Crow class system. Excuse me. I would put money how Google is run. They're more willing to contract white men and hire minorities than they are to hire white men and contract minorities. Especially in the corporate climate of Google. Not only that, they're trying to make it sound like the people who are contracting have it bad. They really don't. They're making good friggin' money. Yeah, they don't have the stock options. Okay? You know, that they could get vested into. Yeah, they don't have some of the other perks. But they're making damn good money for being self-employed. Number one. Number two, these idiots don't understand that traditionally you get a job as a contractor. Okay? You work well for the company. If they're looking to fill a position related to that permanently, or what they'll do, or at least a lot of companies did this in the past, is they would hire contractors, have them work, and if they liked their work, they would offer them a full-time position. And I'm sure Google does the same thing. It would be like hiring, it's temporary hiring, contract work. And I'm sure in a lot of cases, well, not a lot, but more than a few, it's temporary to permanent. And there is no Jim Crow class system between full-time employees and contract workers. That's just the fact that you guys get more perks, and you don't think it's fair that someone who's working for themselves doesn't. That's not Jim Crow. These people have never had to actually work a fucking day in their lives. Never. They went from college to Silicon Valley, got their foot in the door at a place like Google or some other place and ended up at Google, or they've been working at Google, and they've never had a real world job. And here they are, thinking they know what's what when it comes to people actually working real world jobs. Because they fell into their shit. They lucked out. They fell into their shit, and they think that because they're entitled to get what they get because of it, that these people should get it. That's not how life works. That's not Jim Crow. There are plenty of white men working as contractors. But they're being ignored in this because that destroys their narrative. This is ridiculous. Contract workers make up more than half of Google's workforce and perform essential roles across the company, but receive few of the benefits associated with the tech company, employment. You mean with the tech company's employment? That would be where they don't even proofread their own shit. They are also largely people of color, immigrants, and people from working class backgrounds. Yeah, white men who don't want to work for the man because their families, they watch their relatives work for the man, put in 20, 25 years and hope to get something in the end. Instead, they're working for themselves, they're squirreling away a nut, and they're preparing for their retirement. And I would put money that's the case. If anyone wants to bet me on it, I'll take it. Because there are way, 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 way more. I would put money on this. White men working the contract work than people of color, you racist fucks. Because people of color is so fucking racist. You literally took the Democrat colored people and you fucking flipped a couple, you added of in it and you flipped the people in color. You are racist fucks for using that. You really are. And to get those minorities to use it, they're fucking morons for using it to describe themselves, okay? And you're scumbags for convincing them it's a good thing to call themselves that, which is a tangent. But they're not making up the primary amount of contract workers. Neither are immigrants. Because guess what? Google's bringing immigrants in on H-1B, H-1B visas to get rid of you fuckers. They are contractors. They're temporary workers. But they're not immigrants. They're on a temporary visa. Let's get this right. See, they don't want to be honest about that either. Because then, you would think they would be upset at the fact that Google's bringing in people from the third world, from like India, or the developing world with India. They've kind of stepped out of the third world. But from the developing world, bringing them in on these temporary visas. They're not immigrants because these people go back after the contract's done. And they're trying to help. These people are taking their fucking jobs. And they're trying to portray them as immigrants. Wow, these people are fucking stupid. They got no clue of what's really going on. They think that the contract workers, when Google is literally trying to do everything to get minorities and women in there, you would fucking think that they would realize that even though there's a dominance of white men and they're doing everything there, that might carry over into the contractual space of the company. But no, they don't think about that. They just assume that all the contract workers are largely, black, brown, yellow, whatever else, immigrants when they're fucking H-1B temporary workers, and people from working class backgrounds. Well, I guess the working class backgrounds has to be the fucking white men. I guess that's what they're calling them. I mean, this is some fucked up shit. They honestly think that. It's so messed up that they think that someone making good money, but not having, stock vesting and shit like that is hurting. Oh, God. The process by which we build a truly equitable culture must center on the voices of black women, immigrants, and people of color, those who too often pay the most in the face of these intersecting problems. Google employee walkout organizer Dema Rodriguez said in the Medium Post, "We are committed to making this happen because true equity depends on it." Whoa, 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 whoa. So what you basically want is equality of outcome. Fuck the white man, fuck the Asians, fuck everything. They do better, fuck it. We want... Oh, wow. This is ridiculous. You seriously want that? You want equality of outcome as opposed to equality of opportunity. And you want the voices of black women, immigrants, and people of color to be the voices... Wow, to be the center... Oh, wow. To be the center of it. To be the voices that are listened to. There's intersecting bullshit. Cultural Marxism at its best here, people. And she thinks she's some fucking cultural Marxist fucking leader because we're going to make this happen. Next... I bet you Dema Rodriguez is going to go work for La Raza and help them out too. Fucking ridiculous. The worldwide walkout of 20,000 Google employees and contractors came in response to a damning New York Times report regarding Google's handling of sexual harassment investigations. Bullshit. It was about the Android quote-unquote creator and him getting paid out when some bitch got upset that she wasn't, he wasn't going to leave his wife for her. They were having an ongoing affair. She blew him in a hotel room and continued to stay with him after the fact and continued to at the hotel and then continued to see him after that. Somehow that's sexual fucking harassment. No, that's a scorned bitch trying to ruin a man's life. And that's what led to this. A scorned bitch trying to ruin a man's life. Now, if he actually did something... I think the guy's a scumbag. I really do. He's got fucking sugar babies and all this other shit. Can't keep his dick in his pants. He's cheating on his wife. I think he's a fucking shitbag. But this bitch was stupid enough to sleep with him, to have a relationship with him, to suck his dick. Now she's trying to be like, he coerced me into sucking his dick. Are you really that fucking stupid that he was able to manipulate you into sucking his dick? If you're willing to admit that he was able to manipulate you into sucking his dick, you're saying that you are a complete and total fucking moron. But you trying to do that when you continued to see him after the fact, you continued, after the, alleged blowjob that you were coerced into, you stayed the rest of the time in the hotel with him. Yeah, that's what these people started this shit on. Moving forward, the organizers say that they will not let up on their demands, most urgent for women of color, an employee representative on the board, elevating the chief diversity officer, greater transparency on greater transparency on and an end to opportunity inequity at Google and beyond, and looks forward to meeting with Google leadership and working to meet all demands. God, that fucking sentence structure is shit. Well, here's the thing. James Damore tried to solve that problem. And you labeled him a right-wing sexist and everything else because he was talking about, well, let's make it so that there's still equality of opportunity. But let's work towards getting women into positions that they would actually want to do, that they would like to do, that they're not told that they should do. I mean, this is such ridiculous shit. We've got Google. They're already far left to begin with. And now the leftists, the social justice warriors, the feminists, they're trying to take over the company. They're trying to install someone on the board. They are trying to get their chief diversity officer, their chief pusher of cultural Marxism, elevated to where the position is right up there under the CEO. And you know that if they're trying to do that, the person that's in that position is an ally of theirs. You know that they're going to try to put someone on the board that is an ally of theirs. These are the last people that should be gaining any power. You know what they should be told? Google's a private company. You don't like it? Fuck off. Because that's what they've been spurging out, telling anyone who's right of them, who's been censored by the company or its sister company, YouTube. That's what they say when, I'm sure when Facebook censors people. It's a private company. I'm sure they do that when anytime anyone right of them is being censored. Well, now they should be told it's a private company. You spurged out over nothing. You spurged out over a consensual relationship where a bitch got scorned and after the fact tried to say that she was coerced into giving him a blowjob. Which again, if someone can manipulate you into sucking their dick, you're a fucking moron. So I don't think she's a moron. I just think she's a scorned bitch. Because I don't think she's that stupid. I mean, this is some fucked up shit. I mean, here they are talking about looking forward to meeting with Google leadership and working to meet all of their demands. So basically, it's their way or the highway. That's what they're getting at. That's not how negotiations work. But see, they're not there to negotiate. They're there to take over. This is a revolution within the company. It isn't far left enough for these people. All I say on that note is thank God for all tech, because Google and all them are just going to go completely further down the fucking tubes. They're going to be like circling the bowl closer and closer to that hole down at the bottom of the toilet. What we need is for a company to come in and make what Google used to be before they started fucking with it. Because I remember back in the day, I could go to Google before they started ranking shit and on the note of like them going and curating and stuff like that. And I could find exactly what I was looking for. Never had a problem. Now it's a harder time to find what I'm looking for exactly. Shouldn't be. I mean, search should get better. Someone needs to come up with what Google used to be in alt tech and offer a product that is actually competitive. Because, no offense to DuckDuckGo, but it really isn't that great. okay. Bing, I mean, that's Microsoft. I mean, there actually needs to be an all-tech competitor to Google. But anyway, I've covered this well enough. I'm just going to leave things here. If you liked this video, depending on where you are watching it, please give it an upvote or thumbs up. If you want to know when new content of mine hits the internet, don't forget to subscribe to one or more of my social media or video accounts listed here. Also, with YouTube, don't forget to ring that bell. You can find all of my video content on both BitChute and YouTube. This may not be the case with other places I upload to, but I will try to minimize this happening. You are always welcome to interact with me at any of these sites on the list, so feel free to do so. If you have anything you want me to cover in a video, when it comes to news or current events, send it right along to me. I will try to do my best to cover it. As always, thank you for watching.